I'm not as sentimental as you about a parking garage, but what I do wonder about is the return that he thinks he's going to get, because I mean, there's only 8 games a year there.
Correct.
And if you throw in a playoff game, are many people going to go down there during the week? I'm not so sure about that.
No.
And the other thing is, those are pretty much high premium parking spaces. So if you eliminate those, now I don't know if there's a plan to replace those in the same location. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you those are premium spots. So if you take away that quantity of parking spaces, that means everybody trickles down. And so if you're G10, then maybe you go to 11th Street Garage or back down, all the way down. I haven't fallen back, but I'm into Ag Campus now, and I was at other places before, and I'm not a super. I'm not a super owner by any stretch, but at some point you're going to have people say, "Well, you know what? I just wonder if it's worth it anymore. I don't like walking 3 miles." And again, those are first world problems. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I sit right next to his thing in the end zone where people stand up all day, and that party lounge.
Yeah.
I still don't. I mean, it's been 2 or 3 years. I still don't get it.
Yep.
Stand
all day.
It doesn't seem like there's very many people there. You got to stand up.
No.
People are putting their little kids underneath the thing so they don't get sunstroke or whatever. So I don't know. I hope it works out. I'm not here to throw a dart at Danny White. I mean, he's trying to create as much revenue as he can. I think he's an awkward guy. I think a lot of times he's a caricature of himself.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's rather silly at times.
Yes.
But I wish him luck, because it's a hard deal. And again, at the end of the day, he's one of the only people championing collective bargaining. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here until I see something that's just a failure. But it's a shame to see that place go, because it does. It has a lot of memories there.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, kids, people have come up. People, when they raise that thing, people be out there in tears like they were at the old Vet Stadium back in the day, or any of these myriad of stadiums and arenas. But you're right. In the meantime, when they rip that thing down, Cinco, you're probably going to end up parking in the Bearden High School parking lot and taking the shuttle over before it's over. And maybe some other people. Maybe you can park in the old McKay's parking lot. Take the shuttle in. I don't know. But
I'm already making plans to park it in right outside Maryville at the mall here and shuttle in all the way in. Good Lord.
And in the meantime, to the radio listener, I love you. Brian Hartman, did you get the Sixers Celtics score last night? I missed it. Oh, that little pause for the moment of silence there for Brian Hartman. Celtics are not very good. I don't know if I could tell him that. They're kind of, I don't know, sort of. When you let the Sixers beat you twice in a series, you might have an issue or two. Tomorrow we'll have a super show for you, I promise you. Nice long overtime. We'll stretch it out tomorrow. That's what. In the meantime, I want to thank SEA and Sinclair DDS, beautiful Maryville. He's incredible. And the great one, ladies and gentlemen, the great one is on the way next. You will bow thy head, the playbook with the great William Patterson.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan run.
And here we go. Live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios, it's the Playbook on Fan Run Radio. With Brett Hullander, Alex Sarkis, and Garrett Armbrust joining you, I'm William Patterson. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this fine Wednesday from Knoxville, Tennessee. And we've got plenty to cover over the next 2 hours, including talking about the recent updates provided by Danny White regarding his illustrious, beautiful Neland Entertainment District. And it's got some people a little bit upset about the timing of when the demolition is beginning. We'll talk about that and what the expectations are for that district in the future. And then we'll pivot over to a kind of a bombshell announcement yesterday afternoon from Pete Thamel, coming out and saying that the NCAA tournament will expand to 76 teams. We'll tell you if we like that and how that affects the Lady Vols and men's basketball team. And we'll also talk about the Lady Vols and the transfer portal. They have a complete roster. 30 weeks ago, it was 0. Now, Kim Caldwell has 15 players on her team for the 2026-27 season. We'll tell you who that last commit was earlier today. And then later on in hour 2, we'll pivot over to the Diamond, where Tennessee picks up a midweek win over West Georgia. And Josh Elander etches his name into Tennessee baseball history. We'll tell you how. And then we'll go to the hardwood in the NBA playoffs. A couple of intriguing results last night, both in the Boston and Philadelphia series, in addition to Atlanta and New York. And we'll also discuss tonight's matchup between the Rockets and the Lakers. No Kevin Durant expected for that one. And then we'll wrap it up with our final thoughts. So plenty to cover on a Wednesday edition of the Playbook. We appreciate you hanging out with us however you may be doing so. If you're on that YouTube live stream, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any fan-run content. And before we get into the rest of the show, let's welcome in the rest of the crew, beginning with Brett. Brett, how are you?
Doing well. Yeah, it's a big day, with a lot of news coming out yesterday and all that. I had the coaches speaking on the caravan and Danny White and then say, hey, and big day of footy for me. Got my Arsenal team and one Knox. They had the big upset over an MLS team a couple weeks ago. They play another one tonight, the U.S. Cup. So big day of soccer for me, as well as leading all into the Lakers. They need to close it out, get Austin Reeves back. So pretty excited about that one too. So big day for us on the show. A big
day for footy? Is that what
footy,
you said?
Soccer. Sorry. I guess I don't need to do the lingo with y'all. You're not the soccer guy. Big game on the pitch, I guess, in a couple different aspects for me. So
I guess I'll add that to the vocab. Some footy.
Footy. Yeah, if you ever, I'll help you out with that too.
I'm excited for the footy this summer. I'll say that. I'll be tuned in.
It's a huge summer as well. Yeah. Soccer everywhere right now.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
Well, we'll swing it over to Alex. Alex, how are you on this Wednesday?
Doing good, William. My mind's all on the stick and puck right now.
There you go.
Huge one for my Penguins tonight.
Stick and puck is hockey.
Yes,
okay,
I put two and two together.
Okay, making sure.
Huge one for my Penguins tonight in Philly, trying to complete the reverse sweep, make it a Game 7 in Pittsburgh on Saturday. But yeah, doing good. Like Brett said, ton of big news coming out. I don't know if my reaction is going to be all positive to that news, considering I think my parking situation is about to get a whole lot more interesting. But yeah, doing good. Big time in sports, and March Madness is ruined, but we'll get to that later.
Garrett, to you, do you have any fun names to describe other sports than what their actual name is?
No. I mean, I stick to the normal sports that I think you and I stick to, which would be football, basketball. I think I like baseball a little bit more than you do, but other than those, I think we're pretty similar on our love for college football. The Brennan Sorsby news has been a bit of a not the greatest situation for him right now. We'll just leave it at that. And Alex's team is – NHL teams have come back from 3-0 deficits, right? That's happened in the NHL before.
4 times.
Okay, so it's never happened in the NBA or the MLB, obviously.
It has happened in the MLB.
Has it?
Yeah, Boston Red Sox in 2004.
Oh, it's the Yankees?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, So I guess NBA is the only league that a 3-0 has not happened. Come back from.
I did see you started your preview of college football.
I did.
Started with Team 1. Yep. Who'd you start with?
East Carolina.
East Carolina. Oh. So we had a little write-up on it. I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, they've got a pair of Miami transfers that could be a big use for
Miami,
them.
really?
And they beat Pitt in the bowl game. That was a fun one.
They've won 2 bowl games over Power 4 opponents in a row.
Okay.
What is it? Who's their quarterback? Williams?
Emory Williams.
Emory Williams. Yep. And then they've got the wide receiver, Ray.
Yep.
Yeah, Ray.
Ray.
Yeah, wow. Ray. Both those guys come over from Miami.
Wow.
But There we go. I'll have to tune into those. East Carolina, how'd you start with that one?
I just picked a random. I like to do the power conference teams like closer to the season starts.
Yeah.
Get the viewership up a little more. So I usually do the G5.
So is
teams
it like
to start.
100 and something days away? Is that why you
No,
started
I
yesterday?
just figured that if I'm going to preview every team, you got to start now because the
Yeah.
season's quickly
I
approaching.
wasn't sure how many
so.
days we were till the football kicks off.
So like 4 months from now. First
So you're
week
pretty
is
close.
August 24th, so just
Yeah.
under four months.
It's exciting.
Well, good stuff. We'll talk some round ball a little bit later. Is
There
that
you go.
good?
Yeah,
is
that's
that
perfect.
good? Is that a
I
good
like it.
comparison to footy?
It is. That's exactly what that is.
But we'll pull out the jackhammers for some demolition
Uh-huh.
as we'll start things off today with our first things first topic. Danny Demolition, as Tennessee Athletics Director Danny White said the Neland Entertainment District project will break ground this summer, beginning with the demolition of the G10 garage. The $280 million project is still pending approval by the UT Board of Trustees, but White doesn't anticipate any major obstacles, he said during a Big Orange Caravan stop in Chattanooga on Tuesday. And this is coming from Adam Sparks of Knox News Sentinel. Quote, "It'll just be awesome," White said. "We are really excited about the entertainment district, the hotel, condo, restaurant, and amenities. It's a private development, about a $280 million development that will happen on the south end of our stadium." And obviously, this has been in the back of many Vols fans' minds ever since it was officially announced in 2023 that this district would soon be coming to Neland Stadium. But now a start date has been given, and we begin with the G10 garage coming down. And I think the start date for this is interesting. I don't mind, we can get into the variables of them doing this project overall in a little bit, but I think this is bad timing to do this in the summer. I would have at least waited till next January when Tennessee is not in playoff contention or that season is over and you don't have people coming in every other Saturday for an event or a football game. All that construction is just going to be an issue, I feel like. So I don't like the timing of this because you're anticipating a home season schedule that is loaded. LSU, Auburn, Texas, Alabama. So many big teams that are coming into town that a lot of people are going to be traveling for. And hell, they announced yesterday that it is officially a sellout season. And we're 4 months away from college football kicking off. So there's going to be a lot of anticipation for these games, which means there are going to be a lot of people there. And I think doing all this construction during the season, or at least, kind of starting it right next to the season, is a bad idea. Now, obviously, I'm not the one making the decisions here. I'm not the one dealing with the contractors and construction crews. But I just feel like that's going to be a messy thing on Saturdays when that's going to be a big chunk of land where people not only tailgate, but people are also transporting from wherever they were to the stadium. I just think that's going to be a bad time to do it. I would have started it in January. I think ideally they would have liked to start it this past January 2026, but I don't necessarily know if the funding was there for it. And also it hasn't necessarily been approved yet either. So that probably throws a wrench into it. But starting in the summer, I get it. When the kids get off campus, there's a little bit more room to maneuver, but you're still going to be guns a-blazing in September and October and when everything is in the prime of the travel for Knoxville. So I don't like the start date for the project, and we'll begin with that. Garrett, to you, as a student yourself and a guy that goes to these games on Saturday, do you believe starting up the G10 demolition in the summer is a good idea?
It just seems like it creates, the havoc that you saw. What was it, the Georgia game where you had all the people that couldn't get in the stadium on time?
Oh, yeah.
Seems like you're going to have, more situations like that. You're going to have areas where people tailgate that they're not going to be able to tailgate there anymore. I would imagine that these are places where people in ride shares get dropped off to go to the stadium. You're going to have to go to a different place now to do that. Parking's going to be different. So it's just going to create, a whole new cluster of people. And I think as a fan, one of the worst things that can happen is, you showing up to a game, 60 minutes before it starts and not getting in your seat until before kickoff starts. So the Georgia game, I think, was a situation they don't want to recreate again, but it seems like it might be happening again with this.
Well, I know this weekend, Luke Combs coming into town on Friday for his concert, and I think it was put out last week that they're going to try some different parking or travel methods, traffic methods. So we'll see how successful that is. But again, if G10 is being demolished and there are construction crews and dirt and all those things in the hot summer months of August and early September, I just don't like how that shapes up. Alex, to you, what do you make of it?
Yeah, it's a bad start date. I mean, I don't know why. And like we've said, we're not the people in charge. I don't know logistically how this kind of stuff usually works, but I mean, you're taking away your biggest garage and you're putting that area where, most of the people prior to a game congregate. It's going to be chaos. And I don't know, where are you going to send those people who park there and who tailgate there? I don't know. And this sounds like it's going to be a very long project, probably lasting through at least 2 football seasons. That's no way this is all going to be done. Probably by the time, this is going to be a 2-3 year thing maybe. And it's ugly, I think. But it's also hard to avoid, I think, too. Like, you would be dealing with this anyway, no matter what time of year you started it. Yeah. But starting it in the summer, right before one of your biggest home schedules you've had in the last few years, it sucks. There's no other way to put it. But I don't know if there was really a good way to avoid it either. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be something to work around. But, if these new traffic routes, maybe they can find a way to make it smoother. But I don't know, because where are all these other people who parked there for so long going to go? Yeah. Well, Kevin Smith chimes in on the chat and says, well, basketball would still be played in January.
Still have concerts.
Yeah.
And you're still going to have concerts. My only rebuttal to that is the amount of people that come to campus for a football game well exceeds those that come for a basketball event or a concert. You're talking, 3 to 4, 5 times the amount of people. Neyland Stadium fits almost 5 times the amount of people that can go to a basketball game. So on top of that,
what is it going to do to Neland, drive, with all these possible cranes and even the road that runs up, where you turn left off Neland to go up whatever road that is, so there's just going to be major traffic issues on game days alone, not just parking.
And they've done construction over the years. It's not like this is like a new thing. This is the first time fans are going to have to see construction and cranes and such. And I know in the summer, there are no fans there. There are no students or not as many students on campus. I've lived in Knoxville for 4 straight summers now. I've seen it all go up and down and the stuff that goes down on the side of the stadium and stuff like that. But again, this is a big chunk of land that they're going to be working on. So I just think it makes things a little bit more difficult when you're anticipating hundreds of thousands of people being there on Saturdays. But we'll pivot now just to the district overall instead of just the start date. Danny White said, quote, I think it will transform not just game day, but 365 days out of the year for our student body, for our student athletes, and for the Knoxville community. Now, the Neland District will be built adjacent to Neland Stadium. The mixed-use sports entertainment district will include a hybrid condo hotel overlooking the stadium, a rooftop bar, restaurants, shops, event space, and fan experiences. And White said yesterday that UT is on track to open the district in early 2028 and the condo hotel in 2029. He's eager to get started on the project that was first announced in 2023. And there are a lot of differing opinions on this district. And while I disagree with the start time and how I think it could possibly make some things interesting for people that are traveling to these games, trying to get into the stadium, I do think the entertainment district will be cool when it is fully up, and it's going to be unlike anything else in college football. I can't think of many stadiums right now that have a hotel/condo adjacent to it. I can't think of many venues that have a direct, bar scene, shop scene connected to it as well. So I think that is cool. And I know it's going to be in 3 to 4 years before it's done, but from a student perspective too, as a guy that just graduated almost a year ago, I'm still in the post-grad phase. I can hold that for about 16 more days, but I do think it could be a good opportunity for college students too, because the Strip right now is kind of bogged down by the new apartments and such, and a lot of the bars have now dissipated or are harder to get to. And the Neland district, it could provide, 2 or 3 more bars. I think that'd be a cool experience for some students to be able to go enjoy that. So I think there are positives to it. I know a lot of people are upset about G10 coming down, and that garage has been used on campus since the fall semester of 1990. So I know there are a lot of people that have some ties to it. I used to park there every day when I was working at the Rock. So I've got a little attachment to it as well. But I do think the district will be really cool and unlike anything else in college football, and will continue to add to the experience that you get at Tennessee that I think is unique across the country as well. So I think there are benefits here, but I think the negatives right now are, well, it's a lot of money and people are concerned about the football team not doing well. People are concerned about getting outbid for quarterbacks in the transfer portal. So there are the negatives that come into that. But overall, when it's said and done, I do think it'll be a really cool venue for fans to enjoy. Garrett, to you, do you believe the entertainment district will be a success like Danny White is discussing?
It might be a success. I'm personally not a big fan of it. I think anything that you have here, you can get a half a mile from the stadium in downtown or Old City. I don't really think you need to have all this right next to the stadium. It just doesn't seem like you can put all this in with the space. And you see when 100 or 110,000 people are in Knoxville for a football game, how busy it gets. I don't really want to think about another 20,000 people around me on a Saturday for a college football game in Knoxville. And like I said, to me, you can get all this, the hotels and the bars, the restaurants, the shop, you can get all this in downtown Knoxville, less than a mile from the stadium. So to me, it's something that's very expensive that, in my opinion, is unnecessary. I think it'll be cool. I'm sure once it's done, I'll go check it out and I'll go see it, and it'll be, something interesting. And you've seen that with baseball stadiums. A lot of stadiums do it. Truist Park has done it. Wrigleyville, the Fenway area outside Fenway. But to me, it's just unnecessary. And just, I'm not going to say it's a waste of money, but when you're putting $280 million into something that you can get a mile away, it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me.
I will say you make a good point there, talking about other MLB venues that have done it. As someone,
that's who's helping work on this,
and
right?
Yes, and that's true. And they've got similar people working on this one. I think the same people that did the Battery in Atlanta are directly
Cowboys
tied to this. But you mentioned Wrigleyville. I was there a month ago. First time in Chicago. First time at a Cubs game. And I will say Wrigleyville was really cool. Like I thought it was a really good time. Now, I don't think the Neland district is working with as much room as Wrigleyville, which kind of goes down for 2 or 3 streets. But I still thought it was really cool. And the ability to walk out of the stadium and boom, have something to do right away, I think is convenient for many fans. But again, Wrigley Field isn't allowing 100,000 fans into the stadium. So what are those lines going to look like? Are they going to have enough? Is there going to be enough space to fill for the people that want to come in and do that?
What about the people that are going to live in these condos too?
Well, I'm interested about those condos. Yeah. I would live in one of those condos. I'm not going to lie. I would do it.
Well, Wrigleyville's like a certain, that's like a neighborhood of Chicago.
Correct, it is.
Right? That's
correct.
Like people live in that area. That's where they go out on Friday nights. Like, I wouldn't say people, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think people that live in like downtown Chicago necessarily go to Wrigleyville. I think it's if you're going to a Cubs game or if you live in that neighborhood. Obviously, not going to be a whole lot of people living in this neighborhood.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, and like not all G10's coming down, right? They're just building on top of G10 because you still got to have parking underneath the district area.
Well, I think they're tearing down G10 and then rebuilding it to because
I think there's still going to be a couple levels to it.
Correct.
As well, but not as much as we have now to accommodate, people living in the condos and people that work in these restaurants or bars they're going to are going to need to park down there. The people that volunteer are probably it's just going to hopefully just fix it because it's one way in and one way out of G10. That is a big issue. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk more specifically about G10, how that's going to work here in a moment. But Alex, do you believe the entertainment district will be a big hit?
I think it'll be a massive success, and definitely from a money standpoint. I mean, that's going to bring in obviously it costs a lot to build, but it's going to bring in revenue through the roof, you would hope. But I think it really, in terms of opinion, I think it depends what side of the aisle you're on. I think for people, because I know a lot of Cubs fans who hate the whole Wrigleyville renovations because it takes away the vintage feel, I think, of a place like that. But I think there'll definitely be some Tennessee fans who echo that. The college football purists who don't want that kind of commercialization around a place like Neyland Stadium, which I understand. I can definitely see that view. But I think, and Garrett touched on it too, how, you can walk, across a bridge and find a place like this. But I think it'll be good. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be, state-of-the-art stuff. What's not to get excited about when you see something like that?
Does Pitt have anything like that?
Well, Pitt plays at Heinz Field, so there's not. You've got the North Shore, but it's not really there where the draft was. So it's not really their thing. But it just feels very pro to me, I guess is the point. Is it's like a Battery or a Wrigleyville or any other NFL venue that has something like this. Which I don't hate. It's the way college sports might be going, and you might see other places around the country do this. But no, I think it'll be a success, no doubt. And it's going to bring in tons of revenue. And hey, maybe 10 years down the line, you got a better football team because of that. Because I know that's what a lot of people are really upset about. Buck said it won't matter by week 6 about the construction or not.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Well, before the entertainment district can be built, UT must tear down the G10 garage and rebuild it to ensure the structural integrity for the hotel on top. The parking garage has been a favorite tailgating spot for fans for many years. Many of our listeners tailgate in that same G10 spot, but it's also plagued by traffic congestion, as Brett alludes to. Quote, and this is from Danny White, quote, "We will break ground this summer. We will demo 2/3 of the existing G10 garage, and they will rebuild that with a garage that's actually built for events. The G10 garage was never built for events, which is why we've had so much trouble getting people in and out of it." And
so what was it built for?
Yeah, that's stunning considering it's the biggest garage on campus.
Well, we got to consider
it's more for the students
right
than
next
it was
to your
for
2
people
sports
going
venues.
to Neland.
In 1990, things were probably a little bit different than things are now. And Knoxville's continued to grow. The downtown area has continued to grow. Campus in general has continued to grow. And I think that's why, because, maybe in 1990, the G10 garage was good for campus and good for students. But now at this point, with the amount of students that go to Tennessee and the amount of people that are moving to Knoxville and coming in for the weekend, it's just too much to bear. So I will say it is a little bit sad to see kind of maybe not an iconic piece of structure.
Tell Tony B that.
Well,
I heard him on the radio. He says it's Wrigley.
Well, it's hard to say
a lot to some people.
I know. It's hard to say like a parking garage is iconic, but I know it is to many people. And I know a ton of people have fond memories there. They grew up going there.
Where
have been tailgating for forever. Yes, exactly. So I'm not diminishing that at all. And I honestly, I have a tough time moving on from things in life, whatever it may be. I like to collect because I don't like to lose things, right? So I understand, the frustration for this being mowed down and being turned into something else. And I think it's just a part of the plan, and you have to adapt over time. Everything is not going to stay the same. Phones back in 2006 are much different than they are now. And, the iPhone, when it first came out, it was something that changed everything. Everyone was so used to the BlackBerries with keyboards. And now
phones.
You evolve over time. And like this, you're going to have to evolve. But that doesn't mean you can't be a little upset about it.
Danny's going to sell the rubble.
Oh, my gosh. But I
bigger piece of
you got to auction it off.
Yeah. 1,000 a piece.
Yeah. But I do understand the frustration for people. And, I think it's going to be interesting to see how people that have tailgated there for so many years adapt to that this upcoming year. But how do you feel, Garrett, about the iconic G10 garage being mowed down?
Well, I mean, I think that goes back to what Alex is talking about traditions of stadiums. If you've been tailgating there for 30 years for every Saturday, it's going to hit home a little bit. Me personally, that's not somewhere that when I grew up coming to games, that wasn't really where we tailgated or went before the game. And obviously I don't park there now. But I still think that a lot of people that have parked there over the years, they get attached to places like that. And you said it's been there since 1990, so it's been there for 36 years. Anything that's around for 36 years, you're going to create an attachment to. It's the most well-known garage on camp. Everyone knows what G10 is, whether you go to football games or not. It's going to suck. There's a lot of memories there. There's been a lot of people that have done a lot of tailgates, a lot of cool things that have happened in that parking garage over the years. And, I know it's just a parking garage, but, it does kind of suck to lose.
Brett, what about you? Have you ever tailgated there?
Yeah, that's where I did grow up tailgating. I don't do tailgating as much anymore, but yeah, that's where me and my buddies would always tailgate. Parents would have it, and parents still have it down there and everything like that. It's almost like you knew that was that person's spot, on Saturdays. You knew not to go there or whatever, like a respect thing,
Sure.
And stuff like that. People get down there early. And like Tony B said, people go down there and don't even go in the game. They just go down there to hear the sounds, sit in the parking lot and watch the game on TV, so you get a lot of that as well. So yeah, it's going to be tough to see it go, no doubt about it. And it was a part of my life and all that, but so it's definitely going to be sad to see it go, and it's going to be interesting to see what this new one looks like for sure.
G10 kind of feels like a community almost to me. And there was some drama, if I'm correct, on Twitter this year that stemmed from those at G10.
Yeah.
Again, that just shows it's more than just a parking garage for many people.
I just don't understand what has changed to where I'd never heard it complained about as much as it has over the years. That's just the amount of people going down there. People just complaining about it after Morgan Wallen sitting in there for 2 hours, even recently going to some of the stuff I did. I don't feel like I sat in there that long. People figured it out, and things like that. But I just don't know what changed this football season, because before that, you just didn't hear about the issues that all of a sudden now they're having regularly, I guess. So that was the big change for me, I guess.
Well, I wonder what the vibes are this weekend at the Luke Combs concert.
They won't have to worry about it. It sounds like there's not many people going.
Well, I did see that.
There.
You're going?
I'll be there.
Okay.
I was intrigued by it.
I'm surprised you guys aren't going. Are you going here?
I'm not, no. Or I don't have plans at least yet.
I went to Morgan, but I'm a little bit more of a Morgan fan than Luke. Luke's got good music, but I wasn't really necessarily wanting to break the bank on it. But
tickets are
the way it looks, they've been dropping.
Hell, Morgan's got G10 in a song.
I know.
We can talk about that. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Did Morgan Wallen create?
Is he gonna have to change the lyrics now to the Danny District?
I think if anything, it'd be a tribute.
Definitely a tribute. No, I'm not. Just change it. Do an alternate version.
All right, when we come back, we'll flip over to the hardwood. The NCAA tournament is expected to move to 76 teams starting next season. We'll talk about our reactions to that and how that affects Tennessee, both men's and women's, on the court. We'll break it down when we return right here on the Playbook.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
What kind of day is it? It's a White Claw day. Grab a pack, grab your friends. Everything else in life can wait. Your friends shouldn't. Let's go. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
Ball fans, reimagine your home at Broadway Carpets and Flooring for any remodeling or building needs. With a variety of carpets, rugs, hardwood, vinyl, and stone, Broadway has all the flooring and installation options you're looking for, including pet-resistant products like Pet Perfect Carpet from Shaw Floors. Visit their showroom in downtown Knoxville or the location in West Knoxville located on Kingston Pike near Pellissippi Parkway today.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game, Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Smoky Mountain Brewery is the place to be for game day. From the moment you walk in, it's wall-to-wall big screens, making Smoky Mountain Brewery the perfect place to watch the Vols or your favorite team in action. With locations in Turkey Creek, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg, you're never far away from a great time at Smoky Mountain Brewery. Try one of their world-famous microbrews like Black Bear Ale, Mountain Light, or Cherokee Ale. Juicy burgers, wings that bring the heat, and delicious handmade pizzas made with hand-tossed crust from the freshest ingredients and their own special sauce from a secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
The voluntary reaction.
Can't get enough Tennessee basketball? Join Fan Run Radio as soon as every UT game is over for Big Orange Country's post-game radio free-for-all. The voluntary reaction. We'll be taking your calls on the Vols as soon as every game is over. So tune in and buckle up as we drink from the keg of glory all the way to the Final Four.
The voluntary reaction. Raw, unfiltered, real.
Hey, Vols fans, Cody Brown here. I grew up right here in Tennessee and know what it means when someone says, I've got your back. That's why you can trust Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Whether it's your home, your vehicle, your family's future, or the business you built from the ground up, we will show up for all of your insurance needs. We are Tennesseans who understand what matters, which is doing right by you. Insurance is not all about just paperwork and policies, but it's about the people we insure every day. So if you want insurance that hits home, give me a call at 865-992-3871. Go Vols.
All right, back here on the Playbook. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this fine Wednesday from Knoxville, Tennessee. Whether you're listening on the free Fan Run Radio app, 105.7 FM or 1340 AM here in K-Town on the local dial, or on the X/YouTube live stream, we appreciate you hanging out with us. We'll pivot over to the hardwood as the NCAA tournament is set for expansion for the first time since it moved from 65 to 68 teams in 2011. According to a report from ESPN's Pete Thamel on Tuesday evening, the NCAA has initiated the final steps to expand the men's and women's basketball tournaments to 76 teams. Now, once everything goes through, after the final checks and approvals over the coming weeks, the expansion will take place imminently, and the changes will be enforced for the 2026-27 NCAA tournament in both the men's and women's brackets. And the 76-team field would see 8 additional teams added to the mix. And according to Thamel's report, what's best known as the first 4, that would then be expanded to more teams and have 12 games played by 24 teams in that event. And the report also suggested that Dayton would be one of 2 venues for this opening round. And once those 12 victors then advance, they would then follow in with the other 52 teams into the 64-team field. And from then on, it's the same tournament you know and love. And there's a lot of backlash on this, but I think the number is kind of what is throwing people off, 76 teams. Because if you think of 76 teams, you think of just a more expanded bracket. But in reality, what's going to happen here is that the 11 seed games are going to be play-ins for the teams that are on that bubble,
like they
right?
Are, right?
Yeah, like they already are. But now all of them are, because there are 2 11 seeds that get automatic buys. So now all those 11 seed games are going to be play-ins. And then I imagine they're going to do the same for some 16 seeds. So you'll probably have all the 16 seeds play a shoe-in game, and then all the 11 seeds play a shoe-in game as well. Now, is that fair to some of those 16 seeds? Well, that's up to you. But in reality, it's just a competition of who gets belt whipped by a 1 seed first. And for the auto bids or for the bubble teams that are now getting in, I don't really mind it because, you know, there are already teams that right now probably shouldn't be making the tournament that do. And now you're at least subjecting all of them to a play-in game to earn it, instead of giving, one 11 seed, an automatic bye, and another who's right there on the cusp of the bubble, a play-in game. So the 64-team bracket is really what's going to stand. And at the end of the day, I'm fine with that. These are all just play-in games, and that's the way I look at it, kind of similar to the NBA playoffs right now, where you've got 7, 8, 9, 10. They all technically make the postseason, but they have the opportunity to advance to the actual playoffs. But they're just playing one-off games. So it really doesn't affect much for me other than the fact that that number is going to sound bigger and it's going to be something that a lot of people are upset about. But these are all play-in games, and it's really just, who plays a 1 seed and who plays a 6 seed. And those 11 seeds are already really comparable in bad losses or good wins already. So it doesn't necessarily make me freak out like some others are, but I understand the pushback. Garrett, to you, do you like the proposed changes of making this a 76-team field?
No. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and I agree that when the play-ins are done, it's still basically a 64-team tournament at the end of the day. But why? 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 There's going to be 7 and 11, 6 and 12 SEC and Big Ten teams that get in this tournament. I don't care about 6 and 12 Wake Forest that had trouble in ACC play. That's the 72nd best team in the country that's going to be in the tournament. They're not expanding the tournament to get in the mid-major teams like New Mexico and Tulsa and teams like that were close to making the tournament this season. They're expanding to get power conference teams in that went 7 and 11, 6 and 12, 8 and 10 in their conference that have zero chance of making the second weekend. I just don't understand why they're doing this. It's a occurrence that they're doing in all sports now. They're expanding tournament fields and everything. You've seen the NBA play-ins. To me, if you make the playoffs, you should at least have a 500 record in conference play. In college sports and professional sports, you should be over 500 in the regular season to make the playoffs. There's just too many teams in sports that make playoffs in general, and I just don't understand why you would make it 76 teams. All the fans want to keep it 64, and the NCAA is like, nah, we'll do 76. We'll just piss everybody off and change it up. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Do you feel like this would be the last time they expand it, Alex, if it fully goes through? And what do you make of those proposed changes?
That's a good question. I don't know, because I think this is all about money. And like Garrett said, I mean, they're not expanding this to get the mid-majors in. They're expanding to get the power brands in, so those fan bases can travel and spend money, and they're adding a whole new venue so they can make money. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, a lot of people consider March Madness, and still will consider March Madness as one of the great spectacles in all of sports, but it got a little bit more bland when they did this. And as far as them doing it again, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, because I think it's a money move, and the NCAA has just frankly been pissing a lot of people off here in these last couple of years. I don't know. I was talking to Brett before the show about this. I just think my interest level in college sports, and it might be just me, but just all these changes and these things that have happened over these past couple of years has just really driven my interest down a little bit. Like, I don't care if we're going to be changing all this stuff a whole lot, because I think, college basketball and March Madness is one of the greatest things that you can have in sports. And, why change it? It makes no sense. And that's what I tweeted about it yesterday. Like, just why are we doing this? That's the question that everybody seems to be asking. Why? I think it's about money. Everybody else has their own argument, but just makes no sense to me.
Adding 76 teams would roughly mean that 22.5% of college basketball makes the NCAA tournament.
It's unbelievable.
And, depending on how you view that number, that is what it is. So it's kind of going from about 20% to around 23%.
So they would have like the first 12, right? Isn't that how it works? Like I saw somebody write
It'd be the first 12,
like
basically.
11s, 12s, 13s.
So you have literally
15s,
half
16s.
the power conference teams in.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these conferences only have one bid, and there's the other 11 teams in their conference don't make it. So, I mean, you're going to see the SEC have 15 teams.
They might have, yeah. I mean, there's gonna be years where we're talking, is the whole SEC going to get
15 in the last couple years.
Yeah.
The whole conference is going to get in.
That's it. It's going to be, oh man, is this the year the whole SEC makes the tournament?
Yeah. Well,
crazy, man.
Thinking of it, it'll probably be Tuesday, Wednesday. You've got 6 games on each day, and they'll probably start a little bit later. But I think the fun thing about Thursday,
later, earlier. What do you mean later? Start later.
Well,
I thought you mean game times.
Well, I meant to say earlier. I'm sorry if I said later.
No, that's fine.
But I think you'll have, they'll probably start around 3:00 on that day, whatever it may be.
2 games at the same time, different locations.
I think the fun thing about Thursday is it's kind of
multi-view the play-in game.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Dayton, Ohio, and Boise, Idaho.
Yeah.
True TV and TNT.
That's what I'm saying, because I think the fun thing about Thursday is everything's going on at once, and it's kind of like, because they have the play-in games, but it's just one at a time. And now you're going to probably have 2 games going on at once on a Tuesday and Wednesday. Everyone's for more basketball, or, I'm for more basketball, but, this is clearly a money decision and a money move. Brett, to you, do you like the proposed changes? Can you get around it?
No, absolutely not. No, everybody. I hated the college football expansion. I hated the way the NFL's done it. I've hated the way the NBA's done it. You're belittling the regular season more and more by doing this. Like you're rewarding teams that don't deserve it. Like you said, Auburn would have been in, Indiana would have been in, teams that struggled in their conference, and we're just going to give them a chance to go win a national championship for struggling mightily in the regular season. Like I just don't think that's fair. Just like I don't think expanding like the college football playoff again is fair, and things like that. So this is just terrible. I didn't like when they did the playing games the first time around, and it was fine the way they had it, and to continue changing it, it's going to probably change again after this because they realize more and more teams want in, and the more and more money is going to just be beautiful. So they don't care about, the product on the court or anything like that. They just want what's in their pockets.
Now for Tennessee, I don't think it's going to affect the men's team, but this could affect the women's team.
I said that to Alex.
That's why I threw it on here, because the women's team right now, I think,
because they need to go to like 32 teams. They don't need to go to 76.
Well, who's the women's bracketology guy?
Cream.
I
think it's
Cream.
Cream's his last name. I don't know his first name.
I think it was Bob yesterday on the drive mentioned that Cream put out his way too early March Madness projection, and the Lady Vols were slated as a 9 seed for a team that welcomes in 15 new players this year. I think the Lady Vols might benefit from the tournament expanding to 76 because
absolutely
the strength of schedule could still carry a lot of weight. So in terms of that record number of tournament appearances being in every single one, I think Kim Caldwell and company get a little bit more grace and wiggle room for next year in order to extend that streak, if anything. But for the men's team, I don't think it really changes anything. But the Lady Vols could be positive for them. That's the way I look at that. But anything else on these proposed changes? Tuesday, Wednesday, most likely starting. The first 4 comes the first 12 now.
So do you have to win 2 games to get into the round of 64?
The way I think of it is just going to be all the 11 seeds have to play an additional game.
So the 4 11s would play, or more than 4 11s, right? No.
Well, you'd have technically 8 11s.
Because 2 get in, yeah, okay.
That all the 11 seeds have to play a play-in game to play their 6 seed.
All the 12s would play.
And then I imagine either all the 16 seeds play.
They said it was the 16s and the 15s play each other.
Is that enough games? I saw somebody wrote like the 12s would play, the 13s would play. I don't know.
The 16s and the 15s?
That's what yeah.
So the 15 would play a 1 seed if they win that game then? Is that how that works?
15 would play 2, right?
Well, yeah, but if it's like a first
try and find
4...
the tweet that I found on it.
So Kevin Sweeney said like the at-large play-ins would have been Arizona State and California. They were 13s. Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech were 12s. Indiana, Oklahoma would be 12s. Auburn and San Diego State would be 11s. SMU, Miami already scheduled were 11s. And Texas, NC State were 11s and already scheduled. And then the 16s would play. And the 15s.
Yeah, the new 70-16 March Madness format. All 16 seeds and half of the 15 seeds will play Tuesday and Wednesday per Matt Norlander. 16s will have to fight their way into actual bracket play. So you're just probably not going to see many 16 seeds, I guess.
Well, I mean, at least for some of those schools, like for when Florida went up against, what was it, Texas A&M Prairie View?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, their coach asking God for help during the timeout. So it's like, I don't think you're missing a ton in those games.
The 16s, I feel like, should just be in. Like, they win, they just give them the chance to go play the 1 seed.
Sure.
Don't have them go play.
I just don't understand. Because the 15 and 16 seeds all won their conference.
Yes.
Yeah, so
these are all conference
they should be
champions.
automatic qualifiers, and they should just automatically be in the tournament.
If it were up
They
to
shouldn't
me,
have
I'd
to
just
play
leave
a
it to
play-in.
I would leave it just to the 11 and 12s.
Yeah.
That's how I would do it,
Yeah.
because those are the teams that didn't deserve to be in the first place.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if they're going to hire us for the decision making, but I think
they should.
But they should.
But they
We're
should.
too
It'd be in their
smart.
best
We
interest.
actually think about it.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people are upset. I've even seen some people at On3, I think it was Jake Crane, saying the people that are controlling college athletics don't even necessarily like them. It seems.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a valid take here in 2026.
we like them. When we come back, we'll switch over to the Lady Vols and the transfer portal. A 15th member was officially added today, 13th in the transfer portal class. And Kim Caldwell now has a full roster for next season. We'll tell you who and what that roster looks like when we return right here on the Playbook.
Catch up with all things Fan Run by subscribing to our podcast feed. Like, rate, and download the show from the Fan Run app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco at Knoxville Smiles. Have you ever wanted to improve the look of your smile? We know firsthand what the power of a great smile means to a person's confidence and health. Our team of doctors can provide you with an array of options for helping you achieve your cosmetic goals. From simply moving teeth into a better position, to reversible cosmetic bonding, to full mouth implant-supported dentures. It is our goal to help patients feel good about their appearance while achieving optimal health. Want to learn more? Call us at 865-539-1776 to schedule an evaluation, or visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Hi, this is Bo Kregner from the Kregner Group at Realty Executives, and I know there's a lot of choices here in East Tennessee when it comes to choosing a realtor. Here's why the Kregner Group is different. At the Kregner Group, our motto is walking by faith, serving others. It's how I live my life. It's how I run my business. Here at the Kregner Group, we're committed to doing real estate the right way. Faith, honesty, integrity. The Kregner Group. Call me anytime at 865-742-1035 or visit my website at boknowshouses.com.
Surfside is made with vodka, real tea, and real juice, and has only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right. No bubbles, no troubles. That's why Surfside was named the 2025 Spirit Brand of the Year by MarketWatch. Their variety packs come with options: iced tea, lemonade, or green tea. Find your flavor by trying them all. Surfside, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older to enjoy. Party smart.
Welcome to Axle Logistics, where excellence isn't just a goal, it's an energy. As a leading third-party logistics company, Axle is powered by an award-winning culture built on a work hard, play hard mentality. Here, the drive for success is contagious and hard work never goes unnoticed. Whether you're just starting out or looking to level up, Axle Logistics is the place to launch your career. Join us and take your ambition to the stars. To learn more, visit axlelogistics.com.
All right, back here on the Playbook. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this fine Wednesday from K-Town. Pivoting over to the Lady Vols and the...
One second. You know, we were talking about Lady Vols benefiting from this. You know, the Kentucky men's team might benefit for the expansion.
That is true. That is true. I don't think they could get a recruit if they paid him $10 million right now.
Pope's having to go Israel. Supposedly he's traveling to Israel to try and find some players.
3 on the, you see, like that fraternity house they had.
Oh,
it was like come home, all the 3 guys.
And
they went 0 for 3 on those 3 prospects.
Oh,
they're brutal.
It's crazy.
They got led on by Stokes too. They let him on like a female. Just kept on.
I think all of these guys have Freeman.
I mean, he was posting on.
These guys came to campus just to get a free meal, and then I'd rather go. Donnie Freeman go somewhere else.
Stokes,
St. John's.
Stokes deleted all his Kansas stuff. Had only Kentucky videos on his social media.
Had him.
On the
Kansas isn't exactly doing much either, but
no,
it's still crazy.
On the reveal though, he had it in a blue box, and I mean, he literally
that is just.
That's a toxic girl right there.
Gosh, that's tough.
Well, we'll pivot over to the Lady Vols. They added their 15th addition to the 2026-27 roster this morning with the addition of West Virginia forward Riley McCluskey.
These names, man, I swear.
It is going to be brutal.
I swear that's how they were recruiting these players.
Yeah, let's just get the oddest names and let's make it harder for our announcers to communicate.
Hopefully they can shoot it.
Tennessee now has 15 players rostered for the upcoming season, and this comes after just a couple of weeks ago, Kim Caldwell and company had nobody. You had everyone decide to depart in some form or fashion, whether it was over senior night or in the transfer portal or graduation. Everyone was gone, and Kim Caldwell was tasked with one of the most difficult assignments I think any coach in any college athletics has ever had to experience. And in a mere 3 weeks, she has gotten it done. Avery Mills out of Liberty, Naomi White from Northern Arizona, Harper Peterson from Stanford, Zen Kraft from Georgia, Riley Thurikoff from Georgia, Harasum Koulibaly from Auburn, Fatmata Janae from Texas A&M, Kayleen Smichael from Maryland, Shailene Steele from Penn State, Jada Eads from Seton Hall, Aliyah Moore from Texas, Kennedy Fauntleroy from East Carolina, and the newest addition, Riley Mikuleski from West Virginia. The two incoming freshmen, Gabby Minus and Irene Abouadou, make up this roster. And the addition of Mikuleski from West Virginia, I think, is somewhat of importance because it's another forward. And you now have 5 forwards on your roster, and Mikuleski comes in at 6'2". So a lot of these players you're kind of banking on to exceed expectations and meet what they were at the high school level in terms of their ranking. Like a Peterson out of Stanford was a 4-star recruit, but has barely played. I think your best player in terms of what they have proven is Kayleen Smichael out of Maryland, but she's coming off a season-ending injury last year. So that's a risk. We really won't know how good this team is until we see them because there's really nothing you can project because outside of maybe seeing them in practice or seeing how they shoot, it's going to be difficult to really get a grasp. But I do think you've got some talented guards and you found a lot of players that fit your identity and style of play. Mikuleski shot around 40% from the three-point line, was one of the better ones in the Big 12. Naomi White scored 20.8 points a night last year, led all freshmen in college basketball. Avery Mills is a good three-point shooter. Kayleen Smichael out of Maryland is a player that can do it all. But can they fit? Can they gel? And can they compete in the SEC are all the questions that loom. But at least right now, Brett, what do you make of this roster? Did Kim Caldwell do enough to be able to be competitive next season?
No clue. You give her credit for what she's accomplished in a short amount of time, no doubt about it. But she also she did this all to herself. Obviously there was a toxic locker room, and hopefully she got she did get all the bad apples out, including the coaches. So this is truly starting over. It obviously remains to be seen. You would have liked to have seen her go and get maybe at least sprinkle in one or two just top end talented players, because I think the money was there with all the girls you had go out. You look at the recruiting, the transfer rankings for the girls, and we really didn't have anybody inside the top 40 or 50, it seemed like. So this is really going to be bad news bears type of team she's putting together, and you're just going to have to pray and hope that we make a lot of threes, because it's going to be hard for this team to compete in this conference. I really feel that unless they make a huge jump, and man, right now it's just hard to see it. But you do give her credit where it's due for at least getting a team put together somewhat. So we'll see how they do. But again, I just don't think her system works at this level either. So, but maybe I'm be wrong on this, but that looks pretty bleak for the Lady Vols next season.
Alex, real quick, thoughts on the roster?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough to make some noise in the SEC, obviously, with a team like this, and when you're all bringing them together for 1 year. But we'll see. We truly do not know, and I think that's what we would all agree on right now. You could have some of the same issues you had last year. Who knows? But hopefully, the culture is one of the things that is stressed the most in that locker room this year and on that coaching staff. And I think it will be. It has to be. But yeah, there's some talent here. I would say, you would probably think last year definitely was a more talented roster. But, sports are weird, and maybe this is a team that can make some noise. But we'll see. I agree with Brett. Pretty bland right now.
All right, when we come back in hour two, we'll pivot to the Diamond, where Tennessee baseball picked up a big win over West Georgia yesterday. And I say big win, I'm talking about the score, maybe not in terms of importance, but a big win score-wise for the Volunteers. And Josh Elander etched his name into Tennessee history with the victory. And then we'll also pivot back to the hardwood, this time in the professional ranks, as we break down last night's NBA playoff action and get you ready for tonight. The Rockets and the Lakers, always appointment television for me. We'll break it down. We return right here on the Playbook on Fan Run Radio.
Follow us on Twitter or X or whatever the they're calling it these days at Fox Sports Knox. Fox Sports Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
At Knoxville Insurance Group, they understand the challenges many consumers face when searching for insurance coverage. That's why whether it's for you, your family, or your business, they create a coverage plan specifically for your unique needs. Knoxville Insurance Group is an independent firm, which means they aren't beholden to just one insurance company. They search multiple companies acting as your negotiator to find you the best possible policy and price. Start a quote in minutes at KnoxvilleInsuranceGroup.com or call them today at 865-694-9788.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products, done right, done fast, and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Smoky Mountain Brewery is the place to be for game day. From the moment you walk in, it's wall-to-wall big screens, making Smoky Mountain Brewery the perfect place to watch the Vols or your favorite team in action. With locations in Turkey Creek, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg, you're never far away from a great time at Smoky Mountain Brewery. Try one of their world-famous microbrews like Black Bear Ale, Mountain Light, or Cherokee Ale. Juicy burgers, wings that bring the heat, and delicious handmade pizzas made with hand-tossed crust from the freshest ingredients and their own special sauce from a secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Here we go. Hour number 2 on a Wednesday, live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. It's the Playbook on Fan Run Radio. Brett Hullander, Alex Sarkis, and Garrett Armbrust joining you. I'm William Pattison. Great stuff in hour number 1. We'll continue it here in hour number 2 as we head over to the Diamond, where Tennessee baseball gets a win over West Georgia in the midweek, gaining some momentum before heading the road to Lexington this weekend. It was also an important one for Josh Elander, win number 30 on the season. We'll tell you where that ranks in terms of the program record for a first-year head coach. And a little bit later on, we'll dip our toe into the NBA playoffs. The Boston Celtics collapsed in the fourth quarter, and the Philadelphia 76ers with Joel Embiid get a big win. And you've also got the Hawks and the Knicks. New York dominates at home. And then tonight, you got the Rockets and the Lakers, appointment television for all. And Kevin Durant still not going to make an appearance in this one. And we'll also touch on some final thoughts as I might as well just bring it up now. Brennan Sorsby is no longer on the ESPN roster for Texas Tech.
Really? Wow.
So I guess they're just calling it. I mean,
yeah, you got
I don't think
more and more stuff came out today. It's
10,000 bets. At one point it was at one point it was 20 a day.
That's crazy.
And they listed off all the different outlets. It was DraftKings, FanDuel, Hard Rock, Bet365.
He was on all of them,
making sure he's getting those promo codes.
That's exactly what it
was. The new one.
Well, and who's the quarterback that was yesterday that was showing his phone that it was just popping up with like bets?
CJ Bailey.
Oh,
that was his account got hacked, I think.
Yeah, CJ Bailey's account got
he's
hacked.
Just looking at his phone like it was.
Well, that was it got hacked, and then how that happens is they blackmail him and say, "Hey, send me this video of you saying this, and we'll give you your account back."
Gotcha.
But he was promoting invest 300 and get 1,700 back.
That's crazy.
So I put scamming followers out there, but anyway, Sorsby's cooked. And then now,
could this like affect his like NFL future though too?
You're gonna have to go to the supplemental draft.
I mean, do you think somebody will give him a shot, right?
Well, I mean, he would have been a top 3 quarterback overall in this class, so he's going to get a chance somewhere. I don't know how that really works though.
When is the supplemental draft anyway? Is that before this season?
I'm not very well versed in the supplemental draft.
I looked it up. There was a safety in 2022.
Yeah.
The one, the supplemental draft. I guess I don't know how it works either, but it said on his Wikipedia page he was a 5th round draft pick. So I don't know if it just goes with the actual NFL draft and you just don't do the combine and you're in like a separate field. I'm not really sure how it works, but he'll still get a professional. I mean, he's got the strongest arm in college football, probably.
Wow.
I don't know. I think Sorsby, at least in my evaluation, I think he's overrated from what I watched from him.
But you wanted
last
him
year,
here, right?
I wanted him here because
that was
of
the guy you were screaming for before Levitt.
Well, I wasn't screaming it. I was just saying there was a connection of potential there. I was screaming for Sam Levitt. I'll totally.
You're ready to get
totally
his jersey.
get on. Oh yeah, I would have bought it right away. I would have totally been on board with him. But with Sorsby, when there were indications that Tennessee could have been in the mix for him, I said it depends on what game you watch. You watch him against BYU, you can maybe get around it. If you watch him against Nebraska until the fourth quarter, you're like, hell no. If you watch him against Utah, you're like, good Lord, no. But then there are other games where it's like, oh, okay. He played Iowa State. They played him really well.
Yeah.
So I thought he would have fit for the system, the RPO system, right?
Maybe he was betting on those games he was playing bad.
Man, I don't know. I mean, he threw that interception in the fourth quarter against Nebraska.
It was
in
right
double
to that
coverage.
guy,
Yeah,
yeah.
you might. I don't know. He said, all right, let's get as close down the field as we can. Let me blow it. You know?
And just since we're on like the NFL, like Pavia getting 3 years yesterday was kind of wild,
Still
right?
has to make the team though, right?
Hold on. This is
like what I didn't understand that whatsoever.
This is the agent's new way of
Because
phrasing
he doesn't
it.
have an agent.
He has an NFL
Oh, I
agent.
thought somebody said he didn't or something.
He does have an NFL agent.
Okay.
He doesn't have. I guess it might have been referring to.
I didn't realize there's a contingency on this.
The way they're phrasing these deals is all just window dressing.
Gotcha. Okay.
They are UDFA deals that are for 3 years.
Joe Fagnano got the same deal.
Same thing.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
So they're reporting it as this guy got a 3-year deal, and they're tagging the agent. The reality, it's the same UDFA deals that we have seen for the last 20 years. They're just phrasing it differently.
So even these like UT guys are getting
Correct.
similar stuff.
I mean, Joey
and his
Aguilar
is just publicized because he's Diego Pavia.
Correct. Joey Aguilar could have come out and said, I've signed a 3-year deal with the Jaguars.
Okay, got you.
Reality, you have signed a 3-year contingency deal that
got you. Okay.
If they keep you on the roster, it would be for 3 years.
Got you. Okay.
If it doesn't work for Diego Pavia, though, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers own his draft capital in the CFL.
I think it'd be fun to watch there.
Yeah, UFL comes
He'd be
around
a
next
great
year.
CFL
He
quarterback.
will.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, the other interesting thing is that the dynamic in that Ravens locker room, because Pavia said he was a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson at the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if you remember that video. He went down the list, said he was better than everyone.
Well, welcome to the AFC North, big boy.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call him big, but he'll quickly learn.
Yeah.
If he has the chance to, but best of luck. Whatever. All right, we'll switch over to the Diamond as the runs came early and often for number 24 Tennessee in Tuesday's 13-0 run rule drubbing of West Georgia at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. The Big Orange Bats came out swinging with 4 runs in the bottom of the first after back-to-back round trippers from Reese Chapman and Levi Clark, and the Vols now improved to 30-15 on the season, and they kept their foot on the gas in the second, plating 5 more runs to take a commanding 9-0 lead as UT blasted 2 more homers in the inning as Manny Marin hit his 8th of the season to lead off the frame before Henry Ford added to his team-leading home run total with a 3-run shot a few batters later. Reese Chapman, he came back and capped off the scoring in the inning with a run-scoring single to give him 4 RBIs on the night. And then Nate Eisfelder joined in on the home run party with his second 4-bagger of the year, dispatching the first pitch he saw to the porches, giving the lead to 10-0 for Tennessee. And obviously they would finish it out to get to that 13-0 total. Pretty cool stat here. All 9 players in UT's starting lineup recorded at least 1 hit, while Chris Newstrom and Ariel Antigua, also had RBIs off the bench in the win. And obviously this is West Georgia. You're coming off a really impressive doubleheader performance on Friday against Alabama, getting ready for kind of the home stretch of SEC play. But Tennessee now improves to 12-0 in midweek contests this season. A win is a win. It was good to see some offense, get everyone involved, a confidence booster, if you will. Alex, to you, your takeaways from the win.
Yeah, Tennessee did what it needed to do. I mean, that's all you can really do in these midweek games. I looked at the end. They got 24 guys in that game in a 7-inning run rule game. So, that's what you want to see in these midweeks. Cam Appenzeller, first career start. He was clean, only went an inning, but it was a confidence booster for him. That's what Elander said. I thought Nate Eisfelder homer was kind of an interesting. We talked to him after the game, and I did a story on kind of him and Reese Chapman and Reese Chapman's influence on him. Eisfelder, a freshman right fielder. So that's one of the guys that Tennessee fans look out for, because once Reese is gone here, Eisfelder's probably going to slot into that right field spot, and he's worked a lot with Reese, and they kind of have similar freshman year numbers so far, and so he's a guy waiting in the wings. Braden Krenzel came out, gave you another clean inning. He'll look to get back in the SEC play here soon, I would think. But yeah, overall clean day. You like what you got from the pitching, and the bats kept rolling like they did this weekend, and that's all you can do. So obviously a big weekend coming up.
Garrett, your takeaways from the win.
Yeah, I mean, just good to see the hitting continue. Obviously, you kind of expected this to be the outcome when you're playing a team that was, 11-33 or something of that nature. But I know it's nice to see other guys get in the game. Like you said, Eisfelder getting the home run. I think, Reese only played 2 innings or something.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see some other guys get in there. You had 9 runs by the time the second inning was over. And it was nice to see Appenzeller go out there and start and hopefully wash out his last start out of his mouth and have a refreshed brain heading into this weekend, because you're obviously going to need him against Kentucky this weekend coming out of the pen at some point, hopefully on Friday to close out the game and start off that series with a win. So obviously his last couple outings have not been his best in SEC play, and he's been kind of at a freshman wall. And I'm not saying that getting 3 West Georgia batters out is going to change anything, but at least it gives you some confidence going into the weekend. You would expect him to kind of break out of that little slump that he's been in. Tennessee's seeing the ball well. They're hitting the ball well. The last, 5-6 games, you've really been hitting the ball good since the final game against Ole Miss. And you seem like you're starting to get more home runs with this roster. It seemed like this team's identity at the beginning of the season when they were scoring was kind of just put the ball in play. And it seems like this is kind of the more, 2021 to 2024 Tennessee teams, 25 teams that you've been seeing that hit a lot of home runs. So hopefully they can continue that momentum also, throughout the rest of the season, because that's what Tennessee baseball's identity has been over these last, 6-7 years, is hit a lot of home runs and hit them really far.
Brett, to you, your takeaways on yesterday's season-defining win over West Georgia.
Yeah, season defining. No, it was good. You had a couple of extra days off too, so to come out and still hit the ball really well was obviously the key. And you can't run roll somebody unless you score some runs, so that's obviously a bonus. And yeah, it was just kind of what you expected. It's the way Tuesdays have gone for the most part. In the past you've had your slip ups, and you're one of the few teams in the conference I don't think that's lost a Tuesday game. So yeah, you keep the momentum rolling, and you're just looking forward to the weekend, Nylander spoke on maybe another, pitching rotation change, possibly hinted at it. So I'm interested to see what he does there. I think we all kind of have an idea of what it might be, but interesting to see what he actually does. But huge series, one you really should win against Kentucky, who's kind of struggling right now.
Well, we'll talk about the pitching effort. 9 pitchers combined for Tennessee's third shutout of the year and their second in the last 3 games after blanking number 13 Alabama 10-0 in 8 innings last Friday. Freshman left-hander Cam Appenzeller made his first career start and pitched a scoreless first inning with a pair of strikeouts before handing the ball off to the bullpen. And sophomore righty Braden Krenzel was credited with his second victory of the season after tossing 1 1/3 shutout innings with 1 punch-out. And then you had a plethora of other arms come in. Ethan Beato, Sawyer Deering, Will Huss, Chandler Day, Brady Frederick, Taylor Tracy, and I think my favorite name on the team, Jax Bishop.
It's a good one.
Jax Bishop, a little call to Jacksonville, maybe, whoever, whatever. But they were the other 7 pitchers to take the mound in the win. And Cam Appenzeller was really the focal point here because he's coming off a tough outing against Alabama on Thursday and makes his first career start for the Volunteers on Tuesday. Alex, to you, what'd you make of Appenzeller in his short stint, but still having the opportunity to kind of, as Garrett said, get rid of some of that bad taste from Thursday?
He was clean. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, he allowed a hit, faced 4 batters, but struck out 2, and that's what you want to see. I don't know if people are freaking out about the hit, but that's baseball, obviously. And definitely a good response. And Nylander said it was about checking boxes. Yes, you wanted to get him back out there to kind of wash the bad taste out of his mouth from the last couple ones, but you also wanted him to go through the starting routine, before the game. And because Nylander said that's something that he's going to be doing in the future for Tennessee as a weekend guy. So it's about checking boxes there, which I thought was some interesting insight. But yeah, I mean, pretty much a run-of-the-mill thing from Cam Appenzeller. It's what you come to expect now from the freshman. Impressive stuff.
And Garrett, you kind of talked already about Appenzeller, but overall his specific performance, what'd you make of it?
Like Alex said, he had 2 strikeouts, gave up the 1 hit, but, bounced back, got the final out of the inning, and got through scoreless. So I think that was the main thing, was there was no threats for a run. No one tagged him or anything like that. So it was, pretty quick stint, but I think for anything, it's just a good mental reset to get into this weekend, that your last outing, was better than the 2 previous ones, and get those out of your mind, flush those, and get ready for Lexington this weekend.
Well, we'll talk about that matchup with the Wildcats here in just a bit. But with Tuesday's victory, the Volunteers reached the 30-win mark for the 7th straight completed season. That's excluding the 2020 COVID year, that is. But and they improved to 12-0 in midweek contest. But those 30 wins for head coach Josh Nylander are also the most by any skipper in their first season in program history, surpassing Tony Vitello's 29 wins in 2018 and John Whitted's 29 triumphs in 1982. So technically, Josh Nylander is on pace to be the best Tennessee baseball coach the program has ever seen. Now, obviously, there have been some ups and downs this year, but has Josh Elander, in you guys' eyes, met, exceeded, or missed expectations at this point in the season? Clearly, still a lot of baseball left to be played. The SEC regular season wraps up, Hoover and the SEC tournament, and obviously there's the NCAA tournament where I was looking at some projections today. Tennessee would currently be in the Coastal Carolina region in Myrtle Beach as a 2 seed going up against the Chanticleers. But has he met, exceeded, or missed expectations to this point right now, Alex?
I think he's met them. Year one's always interesting, and especially in this case when you got a guy that recruited all these guys and has been there for so long and has been through so much success. But there's been ups and downs this year. That's how I would describe this whole season. You've had issues at every area of your game. You've had pitching issues. Your bullpen's been bad. I mean, we've seen the starting rotation be bad now a few times in these last few weeks. They haven't been able to hit sometimes. You saw Elander himself make a move into the dugout from third base coach because of some of the issues that were going on. So I think he's met expectations. I think it's a lot to expect, Tennessee to be one of the premier teams in the SEC in year one because, yes, it is, a very talented roster. But the main guy who took Tennessee to this spot really is now managing in San Francisco. So I think he's met expectations. And like you said, there's a lot of baseball to be played. We'll see what they can do in the postseason. But I will say the Alabama series win, I think, is definitely a good springboard this team can use to maybe get Elander, to a point where he might be exceeding them depending on what they can do in the postseason and in Hoover. Because, it's a long year and baseball is a very fickle game. So, but right now, I think he's met expectations up and down, been about an average season.
Kevin Smith on the YouTube chat says no in terms of meeting expectations.
I had a feeling a lot of people would have that opinion.
Garrett, to you, met, exceeded, or missed expectations to this point, Josh Elander?
I would say met. Obviously I don't think he's exceeded them with the roster that you inherited, but I don't think he's missed them either. I mean, you got off to this team got off to a tough start, couldn't close games. You saw it in the Georgia series, the LSU series, but they've responded really well 2 of the last 3 weeks. Obviously they swept Mississippi State and then win a pivotal series against Alabama, and now you go up to Kentucky, and if you win the series, you can possibly have a winning record in conference play again. And so obviously with these last 3 series, you're trying to make it to the postseason, and then from there, you see what you can do. That's what Vitello was so good at. This team would get in the postseason. You saw it in 2023. They get in the postseason, and they go to Clemson and win that regional. They go to Southern Miss. They get behind 0-1, win the next 2 games, and then go out to Omaha. Yeah. So, are they going to be able to go on a run when they make it into the postseason? It was what's going to be impressive because you've seen this team reach so many super regionals in a row. You've seen this team make, multiple trips to Omaha, obviously the national title. They play their best baseball in May and June. So we'll see if this team's able to be up to the task for it. But I think a lot of people forget at the end of Vitello's, stint last year, this team did not win many SEC series coming down the stretch. All right. I mean, it was kind of similar to what you saw now. You would maybe win a series, and then the next series you would only win 1 game. There was a lot of things that were not going so well at the end of last season. Now you made it to a super regional and got knocked out by Arkansas, and you won your home regional. But still, I mean, college baseball is just who's hot at the right time in May and June. You've seen it many times that one of the last teams in the field goes all the way to Omaha. So you just got to get a spot in and see what you can do from there. And as long as you have a good bullpen, you can go as far as you really want in this tournament.
Brett, to you. Exceeded, met, or missed expectations?
Yeah, I'm with the other guys and met for sure. And it could have been exceeded. I mean, you lost in 3 walk-offs to Vandy as well. So, I mean, those could easily have been wins, and you could be 35, 36 wins on the season. So, I mean, Elander's missed, or I think he's learning as he goes too, as being a manager. Like he's left pitchers in for too long, and I think he's learned that. A lot of it has just been the guys not performing to the level they're capable of either. I mean, he's giving guys ample opportunity. He's tried changing lineups. He's moved people around. He's done what he can as the manager, but it's up to the players also to perform. So, considering, who he's replacing and all that, it was always going to be a tough job. And we just thought it was going to be seamless because he'd been the right-hand man for Tony for so long. And a lot of these guys he had relationships with. He helped recruit all these guys. So has it been frustrating at times? Yes, but it comes with the territory of being Tennessee's baseball coach. So all can be forgotten how the earlier in the season went, the regular season. I mean, if you can close out a couple of these series and make a run in the postseason, then he has every ability to exceed expectations by getting to Omaha again and things like that. So I'm excited about the end of the season. I think we're playing really well. If these bats can get going with this pitching staff, then we're going to be tough to beat in any regional, no doubt about it.
Buck on the YouTube chat says it depends on whose expectations you're going by. For me, a casual baseball fan at best, I could care less. So we got to know, and I could care less on the expectations.
What about you?
I think he's met them, but I do think this is a really talented roster.
Mm-hmm.
And at least in the beginning of the year and early part of SEC play, I was thinking he was missing expectations because this is a really, really good team.
Yeah.
I mean, you kept guys like Henry Ford from going to the MLB to come play baseball at Tennessee. And I know that this is a really unique situation, and he's in a tough spot. And being able to succeed in this spot would have been difficult regardless of how talented this team was. But I look at rosters and how strong your roster is across college football, college basketball, college baseball. If you've got one of the strongest rosters in the country, if you're not winning games, then that's a reflection of coaching, is the way I look at it. And there have been some really good teams in college football that have paid boatloads of money that have had really disappointing teams. I mean, Penn State had a really good roster this past year in terms of NFL talent. You heard all about them in the draft this weekend. But they were not able to win in the X's and O's and unfortunately lost, their season against a UCLA team that just out X and O'd them. And I think coaching is usually a product of poor results when your roster is that strong. And I think Tennessee, at least in the pitching rotation in terms of starters, you got one of the best in the conference. You've got one of the best and most talented groups in terms of a lineup in the conference as well. He's met expectations, but if you go back through one of these blunders where, you go back and like you sweep Mississippi State, right?
Right.
And then you come to Knoxville, they decide to checker Lindsey Nelson Stadium, and it's a big series against a ranked opponent. You got to win home series.
Right.
And Tennessee has not done a great job with that this year. And at least in SEC play. And I mean, hell, in out of conference play
even
too.
out of conference.
Out of conference play, you could throw that in there too. So I think that's where my main expectation has been missed, is succeeding at home, which I think should be a given. But I do look across SEC baseball and notice there is a lot of parity, and there are a lot of other really good teams with really good rosters that are not winning series at home either. So I give him some grace. I think he's met expectations, but you can't afford to go into Lexington this weekend and drop a series against them. And they were just back on the same trajectory of, they're back. And it's like, hold on now. Hold on.
Yeah.
You got to get a win this weekend, and a big one, because Tennessee heads north to Lexington for a long-standing rivalry series against the Wildcats beginning on Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the SEC Network. Plus, all games will be streamed on such. So keep in mind to pull out that password book on Thursday night. What do you guys make of this series? Alex, beginning with you.
It's a must-win series. It feels like Tennessee's biggest of the year, right? Because you got to keep that momentum going. I mean, Kentucky hasn't won a series in a month and a half. You have to take advantage. And I understand it's a road series, but listen, if you're going to make noise in Hoover, if you're going to make noise in the tournament, you got to win in these hostile environments, because it looks like right now Tennessee's going to be going on the road for a regional. So you got to get the job done. Kentucky's, they're still a tough team. They run the bases. They steal bases. Remember back to last year, I mean, they ate Tennessee alive on the bases when Marcus Phillips was having all those issues. Tegan Kuhns dealt with this team last year. So that's going to be something to look out for. They're pesky, and those can be some of the hardest teams to play in baseball. So it's a huge one, and it'll be obviously in their building. So it's integral that Tennessee gets it done this weekend. And with the starting pitching that you got out of Tegan Kuhns and Evan Blanco last week, I mean, that's how you set the tone, and we'll see if they can emulate that again. Brent hitted to Elanders teasing about some changes to the starting rotation this weekend, so we'll see what that looks like. I would think that would probably be Tegan Kuhns moving to Friday after his just gem that he pitched on Saturday. So
we'll see what moving Mac back to Saturday.
I would think that would be moving Mac back to Saturday. Yes. So we'll see how that shakes out, and we'll probably hear about that here in the next few days. He said they were going to get together today and kind of map out the weekend. So we'll see what that looks like. But it's a must-win series, and man, if you can sweep one on the road, that's big momentum.
Yeah, that lineup that would be what you're projecting is how Tennessee began the season.
Yep.
Coons, Mac, and Blanco. But recently it's been Mac, Coons, and then Blanco. But again, Coons put out one of his best performances in a Tennessee uniform in his last outing. Might get an upgrade back to Friday. Garrett, to you, what do you make of the weekend series against the Wildcats?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as we said a second ago, they play baseball a little bit differently. You know, they bunt a lot. They steal a lot of bases. They play small ball. You know, they try and get runs across the board in kind of unconventional ways. And you know, that's worked for them over the past couple seasons. You saw them go on a deep run a couple years back. And I mean, that's just how they play. But they've kind of been, you know, stuttering a little bit here coming down the stretch. They've lost series to South Carolina and Mizzou, two of the, you know, worst teams in the conference. And then they've lost a series to Vanderbilt. They've lost a series to Auburn. Ever since they swept Alabama the first week of the SEC play, they haven't won a series since then. So, you know, this is an important series. If you win this series, take 2 out of 3, you get back to 12-12 in conference play. Then, at the very least, even if you just win one game, and then, you know, the last 2 series, one game in each series, you're at 14 wins, and you're playing postseason baseball. And if you sweep this and get to 13 and 11, then you're even thinking about, if you go on a run at the end of the season, you possibly could sneak into a top 16 seed, you know, if something crazy happens. So this is a very important series to take 2 of 3 from. I agree with you. If you lose this series, it feels just like the Ole Miss series again, where you swept Mississippi State and then you lose all your momentum. But I'm pretty ambitious on the fact that they're going to go in and at least win 2 games this weekend, at least get back to 500 in SEC play. And then obviously you feel very good that you can get to 14, 15 wins, and no doubt you're in the postseason.
Kevin Smith on the YouTube chat agrees, said you need to win 2 of the last 3 series, and that would be including one this weekend. But lead off with App, then bring Mac in on Saturday. What do you guys think?
I
of
like
that?
the opener role for Appenzeller, and they've been kind of inverting that the last couple of weeks. But I think I would like to see that, especially with how Mac struggled these last couple of weeks. Change it up. I mean, Appenzeller can give you, you know, he can give you 4 or 5 if you want, if he's really cruising. So, I mean, that's not a bad strategy. We'll see what they go with.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, we'll flip over to the hardwood. I know some people out there, oh, no, they're about to talk NBA. Well, hey, they're heating up. Boston and Philly, Atlanta and New York. And then tonight, the main course, Houston and LA. We'll get you ready and discuss what's already occurred in the NBA playoffs when we return right here on the Playbook.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Are you ready for the start of a new season? Maybe looking for your team to go on a tournament run? Get game day ready with Crumble. Head on over to your nearest location and pick up 12 pre-selected cookies plus exclusive toppers. When you're looking for dessert options, there's no question about who you should call on. Our listeners already know. Last year, the Dubai chocolate was a home run, along with the brownie batter. Oreo crumb was another crowd favorite. What new flavor will set the standard this season? If you're in the Knoxville area, there are 3 locations ready to serve you: Clinton Highway, Parkside Drive, and Maryville. Download the Crumble app to build your best lineup and vote on the best combos. You can even put your bid in to request a new flavor. Order in the app and slide on over to your nearest location. Tell them Fan Run sent you, and as always, it's for the fans, by the fans. Don't miss the cookies.
White Claw is taking hard seltzer to new heights with White Claw Surge. At 8% alcohol, White Claw Surge is a stronger wave of refreshment that doesn't compromise on taste. Available in 4 bold waves of flavor like ripe blackberry, citrusy blood orange, zesty natural lime, and tart cranberry. Check out your favorite retailer in-store and online for the White Claw Surge Variety 12-pack and 16-ounce single-serve cans. White Claw Surge. Please drink responsibly.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco at Knoxville Smiles. Have you ever wanted to improve the look of your smile? We know firsthand what the power of a great smile means to a person's confidence and health. Our team of doctors can provide you with an array of options for helping you achieve your cosmetic goals. From simply moving teeth into a better position, to reversible cosmetic bonding, to full mouth implant-supported dentures. It is our goal to help patients feel good about their appearance while achieving optimal health. Want to learn more? Call us at 865-539-1776 to schedule an evaluation or visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products, done right, done fast, and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
Fan Run Radio, the flagship station for Tennessee fans.
This ain't no wishy-washy, limp-wristed, kale-eating, half-ass sports radio station.
We're your in-your-face, truth-telling, say it loud, flag-waving, face-painting, hardcore, bring the noise, causing a ruckus, don't give a damn sports station.
Sports talk that doesn't just hang up and listen.
For the fans. This is Fan Run Radio.
Get some.
All right, back here on the Playbook. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this Wednesday. Coming up in 29 minutes, it's The Drive with Russell Smith, Bob Baskerville, the Bear, and Walker Smith. They'll round you out on this hump day in Knoxville. And we'll round it out with some round ball, talking the NBA playoffs, beginning with the Sixers surviving another game as the Philadelphia 76ers kept their season alive, cutting the series deficit to 3-2 with a 113-97 road win over the Boston Celtics on Tuesday night at TD Garden. And after back-to-back losses in games 3 and 4, Philly flipped the script in game 5 with a dominant fourth quarter. And Joel Embiid led the charge with 33 points and 8 assists. Tyrese Maxey added in 25 and 10. And Paul George stuffed the stat sheet with 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. The trio shared the floor for only 23 games this season, but performances like Tuesday night's highlight show just shows how potent they can be when all healthy. VJ Edgecombe added in 10 and Quentin Grimes with 18. They were productive as well, but it looked like Boston might take control after building a double-digit lead in the third, but the momentum flipped pretty fast, and the Celtics struggled to shoot from 3, 28.2% on the night, and managed just 11 points in the fourth quarter. And we've seen some weirder things in this postseason. There have been some closer games than others, and Philly is a talented team when everyone's healthy, but watching that game last night, I'm like, gosh, Joel Embiid, every time he gets on the court, there's just something. Because he even got hurt last night. He had, I don't know what it was, a stinger or whatever, but he starts grabbing his leg. And I'm like, for all the hate Ja Morant gets with the Grizzlies, Joel Embiid, he hadn't played more than 40 games in 2 seasons in the last 5 years. He's tough. It's so tough to watch him continue to be on the sideline.
Because he's a difference maker.
Because he clearly is a difference maker. And playoff P doesn't have to be turn back the clock 10 years and be a superstar alongside him. This is a good Philly team when they're all healthy. But I don't know if they're going to be able to rely on Joel Embiid enough to have the confidence in saying that he's going to play these next 2 games. He can drop out of the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at a curiosity this morning at his kind of game log this year. And it's like he plays a couple of games a month and then is back on the IR.
Yeah.
So if that keeps up, you got probably this series and then he's out for the next one if they're able to make it. I do think Philly can contend with Boston. They need to go back to Philadelphia and get a win, though, obviously, as their season's on the line. But if you set up for a Game 7 in TD Garden, then this could get interesting. But I think it all depends on the health of Joel Embiid, and can you get those type of performances from your stars? I think Tyrese Maxey, even though he had 25 and 10, was kind of quiet for the most part because of what you got from Paul George, who did a lot of different great things And then when Edgecombe and Grimes combined for 28,
that's a difference.
That's a difference as well. So I don't think Philly will do it, but I think they've got the pieces to do it if they're able to get a full game out of Joel Embiid in back-to-back nights, which is tough to bet on these days. But if Boston loses this series, I'm all about storylines and thinking in the future. And I was already getting ready for Orlando's funeral after they played, in the lead up to the Charlotte Hornets game and the play-in. If Boston loses this series, do they look at Jason Tatum and say, we're moving on? Because they were good in the regular season without him.
Brown over him?
And then taking Brown, because they won 50 games without him in the regular season.
That's
and do they say, we can use this money elsewhere?
You
Brown,
can get a king's ransom back for either one.
They say Jaylen Brown's our one, and we're going to look elsewhere at the $55, $60 million we pay Tatum with and either get a couple of nice complimentary pieces or get some draft picks or whatever. Because they can still make the playoffs without Tatum. They prove that. But do they have the team to get back to the finals this year with this group? I think,
they play better on the road than they do at home.
Which is weird.
Which is because they won, 2 already? They won the last 2 in Philly pretty handily.
So to answer the question, I think Philly has the means to do it, but I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off because I just can't trust Joel Embiid and company to stay fully healthy, even if it's in back-to-back games.
And Quentin Grimes not going to score 20 again.
But I think Grimes
he didn't miss a shot.
But I think Grimes is still a valuable
He doesn't
playoff,
have 18 points in the series.
But if it's not Grimes, it's Kelly Oubre that could pop off. They got a couple of guys that can do that.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I don't know if I trust Philly though.
Well, that's the question. Do you think Philly can upset Boston
in the series?
In the series,
no, I don't think they can win the next 2 games. Boston's going to win one of the 2 games, and I think they'll win Game 6. I think they just play better on the road for some reason. I don't know why that is. It seemed to be that way last few playoff series for them. Going back the last couple of seasons, they would play better on the road. So, I'm going to trust Tatum and Brown to get this done over anybody on Philly's team.
Okay.
So that's unless you just don't like Boston and like Philly more. I don't know.
This is the same thing that happened to Boston in the other game they lost. They didn't get anything out of their starters other than Tatum and Brown. If you look, the rest of their team, the rest of their starters only combined for 24 points.
Well, even Tatum and Brown, they were cold as could be in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they only scored 11 points in the fourth quarter.
Nobody was doing anything.
Yeah.
So, because I thought it was cakewalk. They were up 16 in this game. So, it's crazy.
Well, we'll pivot over to the other Eastern Conference result last night as the Knicks knocked the Hawks.
Poor John.
I know, poor John, poor Cacaw's. There was a cry for help last night from the Hawks.
Last night,
no, there wasn't a whole lot of tweets going out on that phone, but 126-97, the final. In Game 5 of the Eastern Conference first-round series Tuesday night. Jalen Brunson, game-high 39 points to go along with 8 assists. Karl Anthony Towns had 16 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. OG Anunoby, both those guys have had a tremendous series against this Hawks team. OG Anunoby was 17 and 10. And New York led by as many as 32 points after taking the lead for good on a Josh Hart 3.
BTA last
that
night.
made it 9-6 with at the 8:41 mark in the first quarter. Back-to-back games now where the Knicks have dominated and taken over. And Hawks guard C.J. McCollum, who played the role of hero in games 2 and 3, 6 points on 3 of 10 shooting. Team-high 4 turnovers.
Back down to earth.
Jalen Johnson, he was still good, 18 and 10, but
he's a young guy.
I'm counting Atlanta out here.
Yeah,
I think this one's over. New York finally decided to play like the team their roster says they are.
Well, in the 2 games they lost, they were just boneheaded in the last fourth quarters.
Yeah.
Hawks, both their wins have been by 1 point.
Now,
they could have easily been a sweep.
Now, Atlanta comes back home, and they're going to have the opportunity to win on their home floor, take this to 7, and then in a game 7, all bets are off. And anytime
pressure on you talk about Boston pressure.
Well, yeah,
good Lord,
yeah. The pressure is then on. I think the pressure is more on the home team, or at least in a situation like this, the one that's up 3-2 and now has to close it out.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
But I'm counting Atlanta out. C.J. McCollum being your most reliable scorer in the postseason in 2026 is not going to be enough for me when you're going up against the likes of a Brunson, Towns and Anunoby, who have,
Agreed.
Towns and Anunoby have been better this series overall in every game than Brunson has. But in this one, Brunson goes for 39, and he was brilliant off the ball, causing a ton of attention and taking command like you want him to do. I don't love the way he plays ethically. He's kind of in the same boat as Luka and SGA for me, just a lot of kind of foul baiting and complaining. But he was magnificent last night. I'm counting Atlanta out. I think New York takes the series. Garrett, to you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously McCollum, tough night last night, was kind of the anchor of your team, through the first half of the series. Kuminga played with a lot of heart. When he comes on the floor, you can feel kind of the energy shift. But it just felt like they had a chance in the third quarter, like they were down by, around 15 and a half. And then in the third quarter, they strung together some stops, but then they didn't score, or they were just kind of trading baskets. And then you went to the fourth quarter, and New York kind of ran them out again. But I think Atlanta has a good chance to win Game 6 back in Atlanta. I think it'll be a good atmosphere. Obviously, Atlanta is hungry for playoff games. They haven't had a ton of success over the last couple seasons, but I think it's going to be tough to win in New York for Game 7. I think Brunson is obviously going to elevate his game, and Cat and Anunoby and all them, and obviously when those three are playing well, that's a tough trio to be able to beat. But it's been a good season for Atlanta. I mean, obviously I'm from Atlanta. I'm not like a diehard Hawks fan by any means, but it is nice to see that this team has a lot of guys on their team that you feel like, even though you missed on the number 1 draft pick a couple of years ago, which that's scary. Like if you would have, potentially got another pick there, this team feels like it could have really been one of the better teams in the East. So even if you get eliminated, I think there's hope for the future.
Imagine if Risa Shea could play basketball, how big of a role he would play on this team currently.
And when your star is 24 years old, Jalen Johnson, his first real playoff, it's tough when you're going against a physical team. Like he's a little bit undersized trying to guard Towns. Like
Walker's been really good though this year.
Whipped him up on the glass. I mean, it's just gonna be tough. I think the Knicks are even going to win Game 6. I just think they're kind of demoralized at this point. Last couple games, so
their cry is cacaw, but it kind of sounds like the Shaq version right now. They're hurting. They're hurting heading into Game 6.
They're a wounded bird.
Yeah, wounded bird. Well, we'll switch it over to a discombobulated Rocket, and that is in Houston, as the Houston Rockets ruled out star forward Kevin Durant for their Game 5 matchup tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers. Durant has missed all but one game of the first-round series due to injuries to his ankle and knee. The 37-year-old missed only 4 regular season games in his first season with the Rockets after that blockbuster trade that went down this offseason. But the Rockets enter Wednesday's Game 5 in Los Angeles, trailing 3-1 to the Lakers. And Houston finished the regular season 52-30, securing that number 5 seed in the Western Conference, but it is not proven to be of any value so far in this series. I can't tell if this was a fake tweet yesterday or not.
Okay.
But did Jabari Smith come out and say that the Rockets are the better team? I saw that on Twitter.
No, I don't know if I saw
So I always preface that. I saw that on Twitter, but I saw that Jabari Smith said that they're the better team.
I mean, on paper, you would say that outside of LeBron, they probably have the next 4 best players, or they should, even with Durant out. Like Sengun is better than all our guys. I mean, Thompson and Jabari
Sengun's
Smith.
not been very good, though.
Sengun's been terrible.
He was great last game. I mean, 33 and 20.
Well, yeah, but the games before that, he wouldn't.
No, the Rockets have been terrible. And it's credit to the Lakers. I mean, to what they're doing as well. So maybe Austin Reeves is back tonight. We'll see how that, if he enters the lineup seamlessly or if there's any worries. So just got to get off to a fast start, and build some momentum and not give the Rockets any hope. So
KD's into the season is just a microcosm of his career post Golden State. I just think it's
why is he not out? I mean, how bad is he hurt? Like this is crazy.
He's a disaster. I don't know how teams sign up for him. I really don't.
I mean,
the Brooklyn Nets team is the closest he's been to getting back to any sort of form of success, and an injury or a foot on the line dictated that, whatever. But Phoenix was a disaster, and this season they were fine in the regular season, but this postseason has been a disaster. They're losing to a 41-year-old LeBron James and Luke Kennard in 2026.
Marcus Smart.
You know?
Aiton. Yeah.
And when he came in the game and played game 2, he was taken out.
Yeah.
So I just think this is a microcosm of his career, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's played his last game in Houston.
Lakers just need to end it tonight just for the simple fact you got to give Braun rest going to start the series against the Thunder. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me tonight. You don't want any more games having to travel to Houston, and God forbid you lose that one and have to come back to LA for 7, because then he's got nothing in the because it doesn't sound Luka's going to be back till maybe game 3 or 4, according to Shams, for the next series.
And
so
Oklahoma City already got through their series.
And they're already
waiting.
young as it is. So, so you got it for any chance. LeBron's got to be, churning it 100%.
Yeah.
Can I ask you one NBA thing too? Would you, if you were the Trailblazers, would you keep Tiago Splitter? Because with what they had this season, for them to make the playoffs after their coach was arrested, I mean, I thought they did a pretty good job for what they had. And obviously when Dame comes back, I feel like they have a pretty solid roster.
I don't mind Splitter. I thought he did a good job for what he was dealt. But I do know, I don't know, it's different because, like, for the Grizzlies,
It's
right?
the Trailblazers, so I don't really care what they do with their coaches, but
well,
I agree with Garrett. Though.
Well, that was just they were talking about on Inside the NBA after the game last night. They all them were saying they would definitely keep him. They thought he did a great job this season for what they were dealt with. I mean, that was something that's really never been seen before. Losing your coach to getting arrested for gambling. And then leading your team to the – I mean, obviously they weren't a threat. They lost the series 4-1, but, still to make the playoffs after all that.
Through the play-in.
Yeah.
They earned their spot to get in.
Yeah.
So the actual show.
And Splitter coached damn near the whole season. So, it's not like – because, the Grizzlies last year, they hired Isolo after basically a 12-game stint to end the year, and they made him the head coach. I didn't think that was the right move.
Speaking of coaches, didn't your old coach get a job?
Jenkins is headed to the Bucks.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
He's no longer doing the book sale at my elementary school in Memphis. I wish I was kidding. He was literally the book sale clerk in January.
Wow.
I think his son went there. He was a 6th grader, so he graduated this year, or was about to. But
it
was still the wildest post I've ever seen from Presbyterian Day School. Taylor Jenkins checking out checking out books at the book sale.
That's funny.
But important one for LA tonight, I would agree. Get out of there, move on.
And Detroit. Detroit's playing tonight as well against the Magic.
They're going to lose the series.
Franz Wagner out for tonight. I think
they're saving him just at the off chance there's a game 6.
Detroit, Cade Cunningham, as good of a playmaker he has turned the ball over like none other.
Historically bad, right?
I mean, this is horrible. He's got
24 in the last 3 games.
Yeah. He's got to be tighter with the basketball, but I imagine Detroit.
He didn't have a lot of Detroit. Those other surrounding pieces aren't as good as we thought regular season wise.
I think the craziest thing of the series was not Jared Kane, but Jamal Kane's dunk on Duren.
Oh gosh,
that was like a 2K animation.
I know it hurts your heart to watch Desmond Bane knock all these threes down too.
We were talking about it yesterday.
What hurts my heart is to see Ja, Jaren, and Dez all at a game together, and all 3 are on different teams, and they've still got a great relationship. But Dez is a great 3-point shooter. We knew that. But
you're rooting for him.
I'm rooting for all of them.
Magic jerseys are still so sick. I love those jerseys.
It's honestly getting close to me just being anti-Grizzlies GM and front office.
Yeah.
That's what it's getting pretty close to. I'm going to start showing up to games with my jersey inside out in a paper bag. Might have to.
Sell the team.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't sell the team.
That'll
Don't do that.
For you.
Stop it. Stop it. All right, when we come back, we'll wrap things up. Final thoughts. Fan Run Radio.
Congratulations. You found sports radio that doesn't suck. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Hey, Knoxville. Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, 0 carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Citizens National Bank.
Life is more fun with a Good Life account, offering extra benefits, including bank travel. Experience the trip of a lifetime to Ireland. Explore rolling green hills, historic castles, and charming villages across the Emerald Isle. Get in on the fun. Call 865-429-7935 today.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia, courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys, every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
At Knoxville Insurance Group, they understand the challenges many consumers face when searching for insurance coverage. That's why whether it's for you, your family, or your business, they create a coverage plan specifically for your unique needs. Knoxville Insurance Group is an independent firm, which means they aren't beholden to just one insurance company. They search multiple companies, acting as your negotiator to find you the best possible policy and price. Start a quote in minutes at KnoxvilleInsuranceGroup.com or call them today at 865-694-9788.
All right, wrapping things up on a Wednesday. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Time for our final thoughts. Coming up in 9 minutes, it's The Drive with Russell Smith, Bob Baskerville, the Bear, and Walker Smith. They'll take you the rest of the way. Final thoughts today. We didn't touch on it a ton, but we did earlier. Brendan Sorsby, like 4 to 5, 6 different outlets, $10,000 worth of bets. Sometimes it was $20 or 20 a day, 20 bets individually a day. I think he's played his last snap of college football. ESPN removing him from the roster on their database. And I guess he's headed to the supplemental draft. But my thing with the supplemental draft is you were reading off earlier, you said a 5th round pick. Are they going through 7 rounds of supplemental draft picks?
No, there's only been like 7 players taken of the supplemental draft since like 2010. So I don't know how it somehow falls in line with the actual draft. Well, I guess you go through a separate set of regulations or something. I'm not exactly sure how it
says
works,
they have to apply and have to be approved.
It's for people that were either like at academic or eligibility issues. So obviously he would fall under the eligibility issues.
Or gambled your ass off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's frowned upon in the NFL too. I mean, so it's just.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
It says it takes place in early to mid-July, the supplemental draft.
Okay. And again, I discussed it yesterday. Like there is sympathy for the kid having an addiction, but I have no sympathy for the guy breaking the rules for 4 years, knowing what he was doing was wrong. You know, like betting on your own team, obviously, is not okay to do. You know, if it were okay, then everyone would be doing it.
And let me put my DraftKings name as Brendan Sorsby with my school email address attached to it for them to be able to find.
Is that what it was?
Well, I don't know if that's. I mean, they obviously found him though pretty easily.
Well, it was from that app I talked about yesterday. It's called Prohibit. Play on words for prohibit, but it's Prohibit, and all Big 12 players have to download it on their phone. And anytime they use a DraftKings, a FanDuel, and a Bet365, whatever it may be, it flags that app and it lets them know. And Cincinnati knew it before the season began last year and didn't do anything about it.
Is this how the Iowa State kids got caught a couple of years ago?
Now, I think this is why the Big 12 had that in place. I think it's why they got the Prohibit app. But that was different, and they changed the rules after that went down. That was Hunter Decker at Iowa State. He was one of 5 players that got their eligibility revoked and pled guilty to that. But at some point, it's just dumb.
Well, that kid went and played JUCO ball. So I guess Sorsby, if he wanted to, worst case, he could go play JUCO ball for a season and get more tape out.
Well, the D2 portal's open. He can enter that.
Well, that's still NCAA, though.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Yeah. So now
the last supplemental draft was in 2023.
Yeah. My favorite tweets are the ones about like what Texas Tech is going to do next. I think it was Sleeper put out like
all the guys that have been uncommitted,
all the uncommitted portal quarterbacks, guys that were like 3rd strings last year on like Coastal Carolina. And then one guy tweeted out, he goes, I know Texas Tech is looking at Dylan Raiola like that Green Goblin mask. Like, hey, might as well, I mean,
we're YouTube TV now. You can do quad boxes of any college football game you want.
I did see that. I did see that, and that's good. Going to be good because last year, you'd have to. I felt like last year though, you could pick your 4.
You could.
Well, all the SEC games, there were the Skycast cams on the quad box. You remember that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have some wonky ones. It'd be like ESPN, ESPN2, CW, and like the Big Ten Network, and then on an alternate TV, it'd have like ABC. But you couldn't have. It might have. Well, no. At least
there were some weird. I don't know what the rules are. There was some weird stuff though.
So I feel like in the early iterations, if it was a nationally televised game, you couldn't match it with another non-nationally. So, all right. Well, good stuff for YouTube TV. That'll be very helpful come the fall. That's going to wrap it up for a Wednesday edition of The Playbook. For Brett Hollander, Alex Sarkis, and Garrett Armbrust, I'm William Pattison. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We'll be back same time tomorrow, 1 to 3, right here on Fan Run Radio. Coming up next, it's The Drive.